My deadbeat father, who signed away his rights when I was 3, demands I fund his business ventures after he saw my company. My father signed away his parental rights when I was 3 because his new girlfriend thought kids would cramp their lifestyle. He actually went to court, told a judge he wanted nothing to do with me, and signed papers terminating all rights and responsibilities. My mom had begged him to reconsider, saying she just needed help with daycare costs. He laughed and said he wasn't going to waste his prime years raising someone else's problem. She had to record him saying that because the judge couldn't believe a father would call his own kid someone else's problem. Mom worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat while he moved to Miami with his girlfriend. Mom died when I was 17 from exhaustion, basically worked herself to death. Her sister took me in, helped me finish high school. I got into MIT on full scholarship, studied biomedical engineering, started a medical device company in my dorm room with prize money from competitions. By 25, I'd invented a portable dialysis machine that changed kidney treatment. The company went public last month at a $4 billion valuation. Every article mentioned the kid who built a unicorn company before 30. They called it the American Dream Story. I set up a foundation in my mom's name, funded single-parent support programs, and helped kids whose fathers walked away. Never thought about the man who signed me away like I was a bad contract. He didn't exist in my world. 2 weeks ago, he walked into my headquarters like he belonged there. 62 years old, expensive suit that screamed rental, teeth too white to be real. Told my receptionist he had a meeting with his son, the CEO. Security called me, confused. I had them send him up out of pure curiosity. He strode into my office grinning, arms open like he expected a hug. Started talking about how proud he was, how he always knew I'd inherited his business genius. Then he pitched me. Actually stood in my office with a PowerPoint about his revolutionary restaurant concept that just needed 10 million in startup capital. He'd brought contracts naming him CEO, me as silent investor. Said it was time to build our family empire together. When I didn't respond, he pulled out his phone, showed me photos of us when I was a baby. Look how happy we were, he said about pictures where he wasn't even looking at me. He became relentless. Showed up at my building every morning with new investment proposals. Food trucks, crypto ventures, luxury car rentals, each more ridiculous than the last. Started telling my employees he was grooming me to take over, that this had all been his plan. Found my personal email, sent business plans at 3 in the morning with subject lines like, your father's wisdom, and let's build our legacy. He contacted my board members on LinkedIn, introduced himself as my father and strategic advisor. 3 of them called me asking if I needed help with a hostile takeover. He crashed an investor dinner at a private club, sat down at our table, started discussing father-son in front of venture capitalists I was courting. Told them about teaching me business principles when I was young. Complete fiction he seemed to believe. I had to excuse myself. Lost a term sheet worth 40 million because they thought I had family drama that would affect operations. The next day, he sent me an invoice for consulting services at the dinner. Yesterday I called him, said I was ready to discuss terms. He showed up with 2 lawyers and his new wife, a woman half his age who kept calling me stepson. They'd prepared incorporation documents for 5 different companies, all with him as majority owner. I let them present for an hour, his wife taking notes about which property in Aspen would be their primary residence. Then I had my assistant bring in a box. Every birthday card I'd sent him that came back unopened. Report cards he never asked to see. The legal documents which he'd signed away his rights, highlighted where he'd called me unwanted burden in his statement. His lawyers went quiet. His wife asked what was happening. I played the recording my mom had made, his voice filling the room, saying he didn't care if his kid ended up homeless, as long as he didn't have to pay for anything. His wife's face changed completely. She looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. He tried to explain, said it was taken out of context, that my mother had manipulated him. His own lawyers started packing up. One actually apologized to me on the way out. He turned red, started screaming about his rights as a biological father. I pulled out the cease and desist my legal team had prepared. Told him he had no rights because he'd signed them away. He threatened to tell the media I was abandoning my family. I reminded him that legal documents are public record, that any reporter could pull up his termination of rights. He tried one last manipulation, said my mother would want me to forgive him. I stood up, walked to my window that overlooked the city. My mother is dead because she had to be 2 parents. You killed her as much as the stress did. His wife left first, didn't wait for him.